I'll tell you what, the last 2 weeks has aged me. Golly. Man, just can't say enough about the team. It started out, I thought the defense they were on their heels early in the first quarter. We were able to settle down. We gave up the fake field goal. And what's crazy about that is we have something like that, and you turn around and you've got Duda Banks blocking an extra point to be 24-23 and to win the game. And so just the resiliency of this team of starting off 1-3 and having the injuries we've had. I mean, again tonight, Rabbit has a growing issue that we couldn't get loosened up, so we're playing a true freshman, and he makes some huge tackles. Jalen, not exactly, I know it's not an ACL, so that's a great thing, but his knee, and you have Duda Banks step up. He has a huge pressure on the quarterback that translated into an interception by C.J. Baskerville. And, man, it just seems like that's what's happened all year long. And then the other thing, if Baron Morton starts the game and finishes the game, then good things happen, and he did it again tonight. And then what can you say about the offensive line? And then Taj Brook, finishing the game, rushing the football, and being able to get in the best formation in football, in the victory formation. And so can't say enough about these guys. I was really excited. I thought, UCF was a really good football team, very explosive on offense, and I thought our guys settled down and played well, besides one blown coverage right there at the end. And it's exciting. Whenever I first got this job, I asked the players to understand, the floor of this program is being bowl eligible. And tonight was a big part of continuing to build this program and having this mindset of what's next and where we can go. And to get to where we want to go, you got to start, by doing that. And so can't say enough for those guys and really appreciate them. So with that.
Won some big games where in seasons past this program hadn't. What is it about this core group of players, a lot of them that were celebrated on senior night, that's allowed them to be resilient in November?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things whenever you're around 97, 95, 1, they really do have a lot of pride. Of Texas Tech. Like they have this sense of this university and this city has done a lot for me, and they want to repay it. And so whenever you have that kind of mindset, whenever good things happen, then you can continue to work. But whenever bad things happen, you just keep playing. And man, it says a lot. I've said it before. I'll always thank Sonny Cumbie because, whenever I first got here, the way he handled the team and again, getting them in a bowl, you think back too, when you start talking about bowls, we're fixed to get an extra 15 practices to where we're practicing, not just the old guys, but the young guys. And so that just helps you grow your program, and being able to do that helps you keep taking steps.
And Miles Price didn't address what was his problem? What's his status moving forward?
Yeah, we had a couple guys that we thought, they were kind of game time. So the last play of the second to last play, the play that he caught against Kansas, hurt his shoulder. Nothing, that has to have surgery or anything, but it's very painful. It's a little bit different than Barron's. And so he practiced on Tuesday, in a non-contact way, and practiced on Wednesday. And it just really tender and was catching punts, and, that was really irritating it. So tried to get it all the way up into game time. Steve Linton was the same way, trying to get him all the way up into game time, and just couldn't, get them to where they felt comfortable, and didn't want to put them in situations. And, a little bit says a lot about kind of some of the guys. I thought Xavier would step up tonight and play really well in that spot, and he really did, and Joseph Adedire continues. He last year played more our field end, and he's played a lot of our boundary end, and, continues to play well. And I think that those guys will be ready for Friday I hope so, but I think they will. And, somebody that we did get back tonight that made a big difference was Mason Tharp. Mason Tharp played really well tonight, had a big catch on their sideline, was great in the run game. And so hopefully everybody tonight too, between Rabbit and Jalen can be ready for Texas. We'll kind of know a little bit more on Jalen. The good thing is, again, it's not like he's nervous. He's torn ACL before, so he knows what it feels like. So he was really nervous when we went out there, and I was like, oh my gosh, because once you've done it, you know how it feels. But checked everything. We'll get an MRI, but everything's intact. So hopefully we could brace him and get him back too. He's such a big part of that defense.
Coach, with how banged up you were on the defensive side of the ball, no Bryce either, and those guys you've missed, how big was that stretch where I think it was 6 possessions for them that you held them scoreless and you were able to get off the field despite the yardage number, I guess?
Yeah, it was funny. TD at half, Coach DeRuiter at half, because, we get the halftime stats from Matt, and we're looking at them, and, we're giving up a bunch of yards, and but we're only, it's 14-14. And he said, cool, let's focus on points. Focus on points. They're going to move the ball. Focus on points. Get off the field. And, that was really big because, again, you're right. I mean, we didn't have Tyler Owens tonight, so BJ had to play. He played the whole game. We had a couple. Cam Watts played a couple of series, but he played the whole game. I think besides a couple plays, he played really well. And again, we'll get T.O. should. I imagine he's going. I expect him to practice on Monday. If we had an extra day, like if we were playing tomorrow, T.O. would have played. So he's in a really good spot. But it was big to settle those, just settle down. And again, we talk about it all the time. You got to figure out what kind of game it is, how they're going to attack you, and adjust off of it and coach all the way through the game.
If you don't mind, will you expand on what Duda was able to do tonight? It seemed like he was all over the place and really step up when Jalen goes down like that.
Yeah, I've been really proud of him since he's come back. He's really growing, and he's a little bit different. Trey is like this. They're a little bit different than Boog and Tony. Like Boog and Tony, when I see them, they're block hitters. They're can just freaking stay in there, and Duda's more. He's really long. It's more get off the football and penetration. And again, man, he had a huge. He's in the quarterback's face. He could hit the quarterback's arm. That's where CJ was, able to do that. And then throughout, any of the field goals or extra points, he got pressure, up the middle. There was a couple times that we thought that, we had it blocked. Even on the one that went off the post, we thought he had it blocked. So just great thing about him, man, he just keeps getting better.
I thought one of the biggest plays of the game was the goal line stand just before halftime. Besides keeping them off the scoreboard, I would think that it gave everybody a big lift going into the dressing room.
Yeah, that was huge. There was they were down there. I think they ended up getting it down to the 2, and we were able to make a play for them not to get in, and the clock ran out. And so it was, I think, going in at halftime being 14-14, especially the way we played in the first quarter defensively. And then, the other thing, our first 2 drives, we go right down the field and, can't convert on 4th down. And so I think it was able for us to catch our breath and really think. I know it's cliche, but people say 0-0 being tied 14-14, it kind of started the game all the way back over.
Coach, y'all were able to burn the last 5.5 minutes of the game, I guess. And it kind of happened a bit before halftime, too, just kind of like the clock management from the other side, I guess. What's that kind of like for you, I guess, trying to see how they're going to manage, what they're going to do with their timeouts?
Yeah, he did a good job of having those timeouts, at the end. The one thing going into that series, I thought Kitley did a great job, but I also thought Josh Cochran, who's our tight ends coach, and he's in the box, and he does a really good job of helping Kitley in the run game. And I thought Josh, the one thing that Kitley asked him is, hey, I need a really good formation to where they can't catch us anything on the backside to we can, these X amount of run plays, and I think we came up with a good, we went 12 personnel with Baylor Cupp and Mason Tharp in there. and we're able to protect the edges so they couldn't put us in a lot of negative plays. And we came out and we're able to run it out. That's a lot of fun when you can do that. When they have 3 timeouts, there's 5:30 left in the game, you're up by a point, and you're in the game with the ball, to where you're kneeling. And it says a lot about the offensive line. I thought we had good push, but it also says, Taj was 24 carries for 184 yards, and once again, Taj Brooks is really tough to handle.
And you might be able to elaborate more on this on Monday, but I guess Jacob had a great game tonight. If Bryce is unable to go next week, does that maybe put you in a situation to where you kind of have to play Jacob?
No, we kind of planned this out tonight. With Bryce not being 100%, his neck was really bothering him, and y'all know Bryce, man. He's a big hitter. He's a thumper, and so the way we planned it out was, to play Jacob tonight, start him tonight, play him as much as, I don't know how many snaps he played, but he played a bunch of snaps. Most he's played since coming back from his injury. To be able to rest Bryce, Ty Matthews had a great week of practice, so that allowed us again to rest Bryce. And so our expectation is for Bryce to play next week against Texas, and then Jacob to take that, take that game off, so that will maintain his red shirt. And then the great thing, the NCAA it's one of the best rules that they've had in a long time, is to where bowl games don't count into your eligibility. And so we'll be able to get Jacob, back playing in that game and kind of go from there.
Coach, on the play right before the second touchdown, the linemen were kind of spread out. Was that because you guys thought maybe it was 3rd and short and that the official hadn't signaled a first down?
No, we went tempo, and that's one of Coach Leach's old ninja plays. I think he made it famous, and that's one of the plays. We've done it a couple times this year to where we go, the 2 tackles are out like they're in wide receiver stances, which they love, and and just went tempo right there. They did a really good job of defending it because we're hoping that we can hand it off. We're hoping that we got a box, that they're going to defend the perimeters to hand it off, but they didn't. They defended the box, and I think we only picked up a couple yards.
You said during the press conference on Monday that you wanted to give Barron opportunities to make plays. Talk about how he had that opportunity and how Kitley's plan helped him be successful.
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job of our RPOs. We tried to come up with some, some stuff that we could get in rhythm, to make him really comfortable early in the game. But man, he did a great job. We had a long run that he checked to, that we had a pass play, and then right there at the end, they were playing off, and we had a run play called. He checked to Coy on a hitch, and Coy, he's been so, he's Mr. Consistency and has done a great job. And so, I thought Barron, had a good night. The one turnover, the receiver's there. He just kind of throws it behind the receiver. Wished he would have got out in front of him because it was fixed to be a big play. But, I think you could tell with some of his throws that he's getting more and more healthy.
What's the heart of this team after facing resiliency, getting kicked in the mouth in the first quarter, and then being able to come back, be successful, and get now 15 more bowl practices?
Again, it says a lot. It says a lot about our senior leadership. It says a lot. Like if we have a team meeting, all the old guys, Taj sits over there, and Gino and Mac and the Boog and Tony sit right there, and man, they understand what we're trying to do and appreciate, how we got to get there. And I think if we didn't have their leadership to where they could really take an honest look at this season and understand how it got to where it's at, we would have had a harder time keeping that locker room. But they've helped me do it. The coaches, I think, have had great energy, and we're going to come back tomorrow, watch the game tape, see how we could get better, practice on Monday in pads, and get ready for Texas.
That's the theme, a 7-point win, 3-point win, 1-point win. What have you done on the field to get that done in these close games?
Guys made plays, man. Like if you go back, we get beat by Wyoming. We didn't make a play. We get beat by Oregon by 8 points. I think it was 8, maybe 7. We weren't making the plays in the moments, or we would make a play and we'd get a penalty. I go back to that. You think about that Wyoming game. It's first half. I think we're up 17-0. We intercept the ball, and we get a penalty after. So we give them the ball back, and I think they go score with it. Don't know exactly. And instead, you've got guys that are making plays, and we're even tonight being banged up, we're still healthier than what we were in the stretch to where we were. If you go back to the West Virginia game and Houston and losing Cole Spencer after the Houston game and stuff like that. Some of the key guys are healthy and playing at a high level.
Joey, on UCF's second touchdown, the one that made it 14-0 down here in this end from the 1-yard line, you had guys that were not in and set. What was your discussion like with the officials after that play?
Yeah, I thought that the way they subbed, because they were in big and then they went to 11 personnel, and I thought they came off the ball too fast because there were still guys running, like their receivers were not in the game and set, and there was still one coming off. And my point, they had come off the ball, and so now we're scrambling to, when you sub, then you get a 3 seconds to match that substitution. But if you don't sub at the same time, then that 3 seconds starts over, and that was the deal. They subbed, then they subbed again. So once they subbed again, they should have stood back over the ball. And that was my deal of just, being able to, knowing that they were going to do a lot of stuff. They did a good job tonight, and they were going to do a lot of stuff and just getting us opportunity to match their substitutions.
The UCF touchdown there at the end, where you had the coverage bust, you had the corner blitz on that. Was a safety you have to roll over there, or what was the responsibility?
No, so it was a corner blitz, and the formation we should have checked to where the safety should have come, which the safety did, and the corner didn't get the check. So in that instance, the formation dictated that they exchanged. So both of them came. So you had the safety and the corner coming, and you got a really good quarterback that recognized it. What's crazy, if either one of them, if the corner would have come and the safety rolled over, if the corner would have stayed, we'd have hit the quarterback right in the mouth, and didn't get it communicated.
So it wasn't so Chapman Lewis was where he was supposed to be?
Yeah, Chap was where he was supposed to be. CJ checked it. He said tag, 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 meaning he's coming. Braylon didn't get the tag call, and so they both came.
Plumlee obviously made a lot of plays early where he was holding the ball a really long time, faking, holding, and then throwing there late. What kind of, adjustments did y'all make to him?
The big thing that was happening is our guys kind of panicked of him running the ball. He's really good running the football, and so instead of staying in coverage, they started coming out of coverage, and he was able to throw it. That's going to be interesting to see. I thought the first couple ones, there were linemen downfield. We got called on it a couple times, and I thought that there were linemen downfield. We'll see. They didn't feel like they were far enough down to call it. They ended up getting one call, but then they picked up another one. So we'll see on film.
Blocked extra point. You said from y'all's view, Duda was the one that got that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else schemed up, or is that just effort and height and being tall on his part?
Yeah, effort and long and being 6'5", and and I think too, feeling very confident. I think that whenever he hit the quarterback, that really kind of lit a fire under him, and that was a huge play because that gave us a short field and let us take the lead.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank y'all very much.
sir, coach. That man Duda go by himself? That's tough.
Like, who go by himself? Oh, Duda?
I mean, say he had a pick today.
Yeah.
Defense? God.
You good, brother? You'll be in here right after this.
So, 7.
We'll get started with Justin right here in the front.
I guess this goes for both of y'all because y'all both made that impact on that pick. But Duda, you get to the quarterback, and then CJ, you come down with the ball. What did you guys both see on that play? And obviously, it was a big play in this game.
It was just full slide, so as me, I'm taught to go outside if it's full slide. So, I mean, it wasn't really nothing special on my play. It was more of this guy.
We were in a clouded coverage. They kind of got us in the first quarter where they kind of popped it over Leak's head. So we kind of switched to like a cloud coverage whenever it was like single to the boundary because they've been doing a run read off of it, and if he comes up, they're going to throw it. So trying to switch my eyes from the quarterback to one receiver, I was able to see that he was running deep. So when Duda affected the throw and just made time for me able to get there, it was a pick. So that's kind of the adjustment that was made.
You step up when Jalen goes down. How was that for you, I guess, stepping in, filling those shoes?
Man, I couldn't even really put it into like words for you, for real. But it was just, he's done a lot for us, and I feel like it was my job to step up as the next guy up, for real. But yeah, that's really that's really it.
For either of y'all, I guess Coach McGuire mentioned it that Coach DeRuiter was saying focus on keeping them off the board instead of the yardage. I guess what was that mindset for y'all, keeping them scoreless for as long as y'all did?
Yeah, I mean, yards don't mean anything without points on the board. So, I mean, you can get all the way down the field, and if you end up with nothing or 3 on the board, then how valuable are those yards? So, I mean, that's kind of what the story was last week. Kansas was able to drive down, but when they got to the red zone, they weren't getting any points. So, what do those yards even really mean? So, kind of taking that into this game, this was a more explosive offense. So, taking that mentality into here, that's what we're just trying to do.
CJ, you talked a little bit before about wanting to make your presence known on the field. I guess you get your first interception here tonight. Just what does that moment mean to you, and just kind of reflect on what you've been able to do this season?
I mean, it's kind of hard to explain. Like, it just means so much more than I can put into words because just every day I've kind of been working to get that first one to Jones. I mean, I've gotten so close every week, and being switched to the boundary position, you're kind of putting more plays to be able to do so. So, I mean, my body just filled up with just butterflies, just right after that. So, it was just amazing, and just have everybody kind of gather around me, and for us to go score right after that, it was just kind of complimentary offense and defense, but that was just more important than me.
And Duda, you got your hand on the extra point, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
I guess, how do you feel about that? I guess, what does it mean to you knowing, I mean, you made the difference tonight. Y'all ended up winning because that point didn't go through the uprights.
It feels good, man. we was telling our coach that we was getting a lot of penetration and that we was gonna get one by the end of the night. And luckily, it just happened right when we needed it.
And how does your emotions go from having a letdown to stopping and blocking that point? You go from, oh man, they tied it, to, oh man, no, they didn't.
It was just a what's next mindset. Tony told me, let's just go block it. Just jump vertical and I got you. And I was just like, I mean, let's go.
What's it say about the senior leadership of this team and the leadership overall that if, you guys give up 7, offense has got your back, and if offense gets 7, you say we're going to get you the ball back?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, that's kind of how it was from day one. I mean, going all the way from fall camp, I mean, we've been blow for blow. We've had great days. We would have great days, and they would have good days. So just being responsive off of each other, because it helps one another. Whenever Barron got the pick and we were able to kind of go there and, put the fire out, it lets you know that you got each other's back. And that dates all the way back to the winter conditionings and all of us teaming up with each other to be able to push through the adversity that the coaches put us through these workouts, and that's kind of where it's rooted from. And for us to be able to go out there and have each other's back just makes it all fit together.
For both of you, what does being bowl eligible mean to you?
Man, everything. Our seniors get another game, and that's, for the most part, that's what I'm excited about, is that our seniors and they done put everything into this program, blood, sweat, and tears, and that they get an extra game.
Yeah, and I think it's the journey is what is so special about being bowl eligible. Starting off 1-3, I mean, nobody in America would have thought that we'd be bowl eligible, and for us to play the way that we have and go through adversity, injuries, and the events that we've gone through and still be bowl eligible at the end of the day, and now have a winning record in Big 12, no matter how we finish. It's just a big deal. I just think of the journey of that's what's more important to me whenever I think about being bowl eligible.
Go over to Don.
Doodle, what part of your hand, where did you get the ball?
It hit me right here.
Oh, it didn't hit your hand.
Nah, it didn't. It hit me right here on my forearm.
So, I asked Joey, was there anything schemed up, or is that just because your long limbs and your and bull
Nothing
rush
schemed
power?
up, just long limbs,
Just
long
wanted it.
arms.
He just wanted it, man.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Also, this is, let's see, what, your third year in the program,
Yes,
if I'm
sir.
remembering correctly. Can you speak to just sort of the difficulty of, or maybe what you have learned as a young guy coming in here, kind of what it takes to play at this level?
Yeah, it's really just grit and want to, really. It's just going out, putting the work together, stacking days, and then you'll see at the final what you left with.
Can you talk about just the difficulty of playing a guy like John Reese Plumlee, who put y'all in such, I guess, conflict there early with those, fakes and holding it right until he's at the line of scrimmage and then jumping up and throwing it, especially playing the position that you're playing?
Yeah, I mean, it's just him being so athletic. I mean, even though he did have that knee brace on, he was still very mobile. And I think that was just most dangerous about him to be able to get out the pocket and make it seem like he's going to tuck and run and just kind of pop it over our head. So that caused a problem for us early, and we saw them do that a little bit prior in games, but they were kind of making it a focal point to kind of start the game. So that we had to really adjust to, but just Plumlee himself, I mean, he's a great player. We definitely had our hands full. I mean, like, again, he was very mobile. That's kind of what makes it difficult for us to contain him in the pocket and, stay on coverage for longer. He was able to extend plays and even do QB draws and get the needed yardage. So he made our hands full, and we just kind of had to, bow up and accept it the way it was.
If that hit your forearm, what's your verdict?
I couldn't tell you. I honestly couldn't tell you.
Did you move it to it, or did it just?
No, I just kind of like extended, and then it just hit the arm. Yes, sir.
High enough, right?
Yes, sir.
Anything else for these two before we let them go? All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Baron, it seemed like in the first half the offense was just a lot more open. I guess how much healthier were you able to get throughout the week that y'all were able to kind of spread it out a little more in that first half?
Right. Yeah. Going in this week, we knew and I do a lot of rehab and treatment and stuff, but UCF did a good job of loading the box early, which gave me the ability to check out of plays and to extend plays and kind of do what Coach Kitley coaches me to do. And they can't speak enough about the O-line and what Taj did in the first half, really the whole game. And it was just a good win for us tonight for sure.
This is for both of y'all. What were those conversations like going into that final drive, knowing that they wanted y'all to put it away? I guess what were those conversations like with Kitley and McGuire, knowing y'all were able to burn away 5.5 minutes off the clock?
Just knowing our job and then things that we got to execute within the run game and things like that.
Yeah, I kind of went up to the O-line. I was like, the hat's on our head right now. You know, they know we're going to run the ball. And, you know, I told Taj the same thing. And, I mean, I'd take our guys to battle any day for sure against any other opponent. And, you know, we got it done at the end of the day, which matters.
Barron, certain play that stuck out in my mind was the deep shot to Dre before I think it was the Tharp touchdown. Guy in your lap and you get the ball off. Just, would you see that play and obviously do what you're able to do to get the ball in the end zone?
Yeah, I just saw man coverage and knew what they were doing. Pre-snap, check the play, check the protection. Taj made a great block and kind of held the safety in the middle of the field and just let Dre's speed just go. And he did a great job, made a great play, big explosive for us.
Taj, I guess with the workload that you got tonight, you had the really explosive run that kind of set up your night, obviously, and get the go-ahead touchdown. I guess, what does this ride mean to you in your, I guess, probably your last game at Jones AT&T?
It means a lot. Just it's a bittersweet moment. Shout out to the guys, the offensive line, and really my teammates and my coaches, because without any of them, I wouldn't be here. And really just me, just meaning a lot, and just really just playing hard for those guys.
For both of you, what does being bowl eligible mean to you?
Yeah, I think starting the season 1-3 and then battling back to 6 wins is something that tells a lot about a team. And I think that, you know, speaks volumes for both sides of the ball and special teams too. You know, I think this team is a really greedy team that wants to be great. And, you know, obviously things haven't rolled our way early, but, you know, it kind of turned around and, you know, we're making something out of nothing for sure.
From my opinion, it's just it's a culture change. Things like we're expected to come to be in a bowl game. That's not for this year. It was expected to be in a bowl game, but we really wanted something big this year, such as the Big 12 championship. But that's just a culture change for McGuire and his program.
As former players come back, Roger came back, and they come back and they want to talk to you and they want to motivate you. How does that feel with the support of not only the fans, your coaches, but former players coming back to give you support for big games?
Oh, that means a lot, especially Sarar. That's the little dynamic duo we had in the past few years, and that's really my brother, my guy. He lets me know, shows me the ropes, and when he got here and showed me everything, and really just knowing that they have a home here, coming in, talking to the brothers that they watch on TV every day or every night, and things like that.
Yeah, I think Coach McGuire just speaks volumes about him too. You know, players want to come back and they want to be involved with Texas Tech athletics, and yeah, I think that just tells you a lot about who Coach McGuire is and what he does for this program.
November for the Red Raiders under McGuire, you guys only had one loss. What does it say about a team that when the resiliency of a team backs to the wall and you guys just find ways to win?
Really, it's just a shout out to our hard work and our strength staff. They do so much behind the scenes. They pump us up every day. We're in the weight room working out hard. I feel like we're the hardest working team probably in college football, in my opinion, because things that we do in the weight room goes unseen, and we show y'all on Saturday.
Yeah, I think that he hit it on the head too. I think that you know, our strength staff, the way they prepare us to, you know, battle back from what we've been through, to get everyone healthy. Speaking on the trainers too, you know, every week we got some guys banged up for sure, and you know, they just do a great job. It's not just the athletes and us doing our part; it's everyone doing their part.
Collier, then Nathan.
Taj, Justin asked you about the workload earlier. You were pretty fresh there in the fourth quarter. I think you had like 13 carries, which hadn't been the case the last few weeks. What does it feel like when you know that they're going to give you the ball and the other team just can't stop you?
That's just something I live for, just because I feel like I'm that guy, in my opinion, and just really just me being humbled and just knowing defenses and knowing run fronts and making guys miss. That's just something I just always just have to do in the college level.
Barron, kind of, you looked a lot healthier, obviously, from the jump, having some deep shots there. Just kind of how healthy do you feel at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think I want to say I'm great, but I'm not bad, and I think that it's good enough for us to move the ball, passing, and not just, you know, giving Taj 50 carries a game. I think that just is I'm better than I have been for sure.
And for both of y'all, just kind of what was the mindset going into that final drive where you thought, oh, it may be a tie game, and then suddenly, due to blocks, that extra point, and you're able to run the clock out?
Yeah, it's kind of next man up. Duda made a great play. Hasn't been playing a lot of snaps this year, but it's been very effective when he's in. And then, that last drive, like I said, O-line, the hat's on your head. We're going to run the ball if they load the box. Coy made a great play on a second down, get a first down, keep the chains moving. It just kind of we all came together on that last drive, and it was really cool to see for sure.
I would say really just taking a play at a time, knowing our job at that moment on that play, and just being successful at it.
Todd, I was going to ask you, when it went 0-0-0, what were your emotions?
0-0-0.
I mean, when the clock ended, it's your career at home here in Lubbock.
It's a bittersweet moment. I had so many amazing games here, so many amazing coaches that came through that coached me and coached my teammates, and it's a bittersweet moment. I teared up a little bit, but it's just something I knew I left a good legacy here within playing the running back position.
A lot of players came up and hugged you, did your handshakes, what that mean?
It means a lot. Just me from the fans, because we have the best fans in the Big 12, in my opinion, and from the coaches and the players, it's just really just a family here. And once I got here, it was a family, and I'm still a family here. So something I can be proud of.
Any last questions? All right, we'll wrap up with Don.
So, Tosh, you do consider this your last home game? In other words, you don't foresee any possibility that you're going to be back next year?
It all depends on how we finish out the season. But this is most likely be my last home game.
Coming into this game, R.J. Harvey from UCF is a 1,000-yard rusher, and he had 5 consecutive 100-yard games, and he had 200 yards last week against OSU. Do you even think about something like that as, what he's done for them, kind of similar to what you've done for Tech?
I respect everyone. That's just something I go in, even in the running back committee and within running backs in college football. We have some good running backs in college football that's be known and that has a 100-yard rushing game, such as myself. And I respect anyone, and I'm just not afraid of anything and anybody. So it's just I respect anyone.
Baron, the last 2 weeks you put a percentage on the health of your AC joint. A couple weeks ago you said 70 or 80%. I think last week you said 60%. What's the percentage now?
I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of a day-to-day deal now. It's kind of just restarts. Throwing next Tuesday at practice, to Wednesday to see how you feel on Friday, and then Saturday just bite the bullet and go get a win. And that's just kind of what it has been the last couple of weeks.
About Sir Roderick coming back. Any thoughts on Josh Young being recognized out there on the field tonight?
Yeah, that was awesome for sure. I'm a Rangers fan, obviously. I grew up a Rangers fan, so see Texas Tech alum to come back to, visit us too is really cool. And I saw him in the end zone pregame, and I was like, man, this is cool. Like, that's a World Series champion right there. So it was pretty cool.
All right, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you, everybody.
Thank y'all.